All right, can you hear me? You should be up. Everything should be working. Welcome in, welcome in. I was waiting on Twitch to tell me it was actually working, but I guess if you're here, I'm gonna assume the video is on. Everything's good. Cool. All right, I'm just gonna leave that on in the background. Wait, quiet. It's all right. Wouldn't be a new Memphis stream if something didn't go horribly wrong. All right, there we go. Now, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I am, as always, your master of ceremonies, the Richard. Welcome in. Okay, good. You can hear me. Good, good, good. There's some kind of a weird delay with OBS, and I don't know why. Hang on. I may have to reset this. We'll see. Hang on. I'm going to restart my camera real fast. Give me one sec. Okay, that's better. Now it appears to be in line. It's going to take a sec for it to acclimate, to get into focus. Come on. I believe in you, camera. I believe in you, little Dell camera. There we go. All right. Welcome back to painting these Kruleboys. Boy, do they look great. Oh, they look so good. I'm so happy with how they turned out. Well, are continuing to turn out, I guess. Oh, wait. Oh, what did that do? Oh, man. Well, it wouldn't be a new Memphis stream if something didn't go horribly wrong in the first 30 seconds, some kind of technical difficulty. So that's just a new Memphis stream being a new Memphis stream. Nothing to worry about here. Don't worry about it. Pay no attention to the man behind the OBS page. No, pay no attention to him. All of these, nothing has gone wrong. That's all fake news. Anyway, let's continue with these guys. Now, what do we have that needs to be done on these gentlemen next? These Kruleboys, to finalize Kruleboy Summer here. We need to do some highlights with gray on all these little metal nubs he has all over him. The skin and the cloaks look great. There are a couple of areas we need to touch up with some blue wash, but we'll take care of those later. I'm thinking we're going to start with the highlights on these wraps with some cork brown. That'll be a nice, easy thing while we're waiting on people to show up, as well as just being something that needs done, and something I'd specifically want to get done before we move on to doing to fixing stuff that was messed up by putting in extra blue wash, because this is an area I'm probably going to mess up and need to fix. So let's see what needs highlighted here. Let's get along these ropes on these raised edges here. Go. Just dab some of these. Not doing anything fancy. Hope your day's going well, by the way. Hope that hospital visit was still nothing. Hope everything's going well for you, bro. There we go. Let's do that. Touch right over there. The back of this little rope. Just get a couple of these edges. I'm not trying to highlight anything, just get a few key details thrown together here. Go. If I try to get all the way around this, it's going to drive me absolutely wild. But I know me better than to say that I won't. Alright, well, it looks significantly less green now, if nothing else. That cork brown with the blue wash looked so incredibly green. These highlights should help with that. Not that looking a bit green was bad when there's so much red on the model, I suppose. Go. Big glob for this one, that tip. There we go. Welcome in, welcome in. I don't know about never. These guys will get finished eventually. I'm excited to have some good photos of them. So it'll be fun once they are finished. It is funny though, this stream is probably the most notoriety the Kruleboys have gotten in years. As a faction. There. We're not even in October yet. Go. Ooh, that's way too much. Actually, you know what? I don't want to get all of these. I kind of like the mixed wrapping, some of which are dark and some of which are light. I kind of like the way it looks. So I definitely... No, leave those ones at the top. Oh, I like it. There we go. There we go. What's up, Matt? Hey, welcome in. Glad to see you. Right. Another 5 hours. I can't believe... I mean, okay. I want to say I can't believe we spent 4 hours doing just basic highlights and the bases on these guys yesterday, but that sounds just like me, so I'm actually not at all surprised. It sounds just like what I would do. Side of that one, yeah. That one. That one. Just a couple of these. There we go. Yeah! Oh, those wraps look so much better now, so much more defined. Are there any more on him? Got his belt. Oh, right, the stitches. Almost forgot about those. I'm going to need to only put out like a little bit of cork brown, like pour out a little bit of cork brown at a time. This will help them really come alive, though. They do look really leathery. A dark wash? I think the blue looks great. I don't think they need any dark wash. Like, yeah, the recessed areas in the wraps do look a bit... they look more blue now. They don't look as greenish as they did before. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Nuln Oil. The base is going to get washed again, by the way. The base is going to get another wash of a deep green, like a seafoam green. Again, we're still copying the style for these that we... Oh, I put them all away. We're copying the style from these we've used before. on a different model. I can bring it out in a sec if we need it. Oh man, my hands are really shaky today. This might not be a great day for this. We may have to come back to these details. Go. We may have to only do like 5 at a time or something like that, because if my hands are super shaky like this, this is not going to be a good day for this. Go. There. There. Looking good. All right, let's get the ones on top of him. No, come on. Give me that good point. I need a really sharp point on this brush. Go. I hadn't really intended for them to pair with them, but I can go grab them real fast. We can do a side-by-side comparison. Oh, that already looks so much better. Those stitches. Helps that leather really come to life. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That leather looks so much better now with those stitches, right? Right? Really brings it to life. I gotta remember to get that little metal point whenever I do the white highlights, or the gray highlights. I think that's all this gentleman needs. Just those couple of wraps. Oh, wait, there's one here. I want to make sure I get anything that's really sticking out. Yep, that leather looks so much better now. Oh, that leather looks so good. Oh, it looks so good. Still needs further highlights, but that's 1 out of 10. Right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to grab those blue gobbos. Here's a frosty boy. Here they are. Oh, God. I wish I could do manual exposure on this camera, but I'm not allowed to because the frame rate will drop to like 15 frames per second if I do that. There they are. I mean, it still needs a lot more layers. Like, it's not clearly not done yet, but I don't know. I think they could be in the same army. My paint, fortunately, the nice thing about having a consistent painting style like I do is that it's hard to make things not feel like they can fit in the same army. And to be honest, as far as the Warhammer community, yeah, there are those guys out there who are super pedantic when you're playing, you know, but at the same time, it's like most Warhammer painters, when you meet them like in the wild, will be like, yeah, if it looks cool, just put it in the same army. Whatever, who cares? Like, if it looks cool, have them in the same army. Who cares? It's better that your rule of cool, you know, rule of cool. Ooh, this is already drying. Already drying. Ooh, God, I wish I was a Game of Thrones fan, or I would care more about that. But good work. Man. You know what one of my favorite you want to hear one of my favorite jokes to tell people? Remember when people cared about Game of Thrones? Wasn't that wild? It was so long ago now. Remember when anybody gave a shit about Game of Thrones as a franchise? Man, what a long time ago that was. What a crazy time. It's a dead franchise now. Who cares? Isn't that just wild to think about now for how big that show was? It's just a dead franchise, like Star Wars. What a crazy time. They really botched that. And all from one show that was beloved for so long. Definitely need to have some highlights here to draw the eye away from that, like, line in the plastic. There we go. There's a damn hair on this. Oh, shoot. Oh, well. Okay, well, I mean, I'm sure your phone camera doesn't do him justice, but neither does the camera I'm using. It's only a 2K camera. And unfortunately, this is the only light that I have that gives me enough light on this thing. And it is, the stupid camera won't allow me to do manual exposure, or else I could do a lot more. Make it look a lot less cold. Make this thing look better, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to do that, or else it just randomly goes down to like 15 frames per second on the video, and I have no idea why. Whatever. Okay. Let's do those. Just like one or two little stripes right there. That's perfect. That'll do. That's perfect right there. Is fine. Just a dot right there. There. All right. Along here. Right along there. There we go. Getting that belt looking nice. Oh my God. Yeah, I knew a girl who got a tattoo of dragon eggs on her back sometime around the end of season 4, and she came to regret that, actually. Boy, especially with how that show ended. Boy. Yeah, you know, women in power really need to be just put down. That's probably the most important thing. For a show they called feminist, which it's not. Stupid in the first place. And then to just end on a note of, you know, when women get control, you know, that's when things get real genocide-y. So better, if a woman gets power, better just take her out like old Yeller. Take her out back, put a knife in her, be done with it. Boy, what a way to go out for a show that was lauded as some kind of a tribute to feminism, even though it wasn't, never was. But people liked Khaleesi, so... You know, you can bend anything to your will. That was crazy. Right. Don't get it on his skin. No, that's fine, actually. You're doing a pretty good job of this so far, actually. This could look a lot worse. Let's make sure to get... Come on. Ugh, it's drying out so quickly. Paint is not working with me. There we go. There we go. All right. Now the stitches. Go. Oh, it really brings that leather to life. Go. And right there. There we go. Oh, those stitches look great. There's also a lot less of them on these models than I have, at least on the first two. Hopefully that trend continues. Because my hands are already... God, my hands are so shaky right now. If you claim you can't paint your minis because your hands are shaky, look at me right now. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my god. Oh yeah, pop in later if you can. Have a great day, man. Oh, Slag, hey, welcome in. I didn't see you there. Pretty good until they started rushing. Yeah, they wanted to go make a Star Wars franchise that they didn't actually get to make. And that ridiculous thing about the Confederacy they wanted to make, that pet project, that was just weird. Alright, let's just individually highlight these as well. Really, you've never seen Game of Thrones? Even I watched it eventually, years after it was cool. First seasons were pretty good. I can see why it got popular. Real shame it shat the bed. But, you know, I gotta be honest, a lot of the problems that were people eventually roasted it for were still there from the beginning. People were just more willing to overlook the same problems the show had from the beginning because the writing was really, really good in other aspects. You know, the violence against women was really specific and over the top. The, what else was there? The characters were sophomoric a lot of the times, especially for how intelligent they were supposed to be. Like, don't get me wrong, I like a smart guy making a dick joke once in a while to show they're human. But it got to be a bit much in Game of Thrones. There were a lot of the issues the show had were there from the beginning, but people were willing to, you know, push past them because what was good was worth it. Once what was good wasn't worth it anymore, well, then suddenly everybody became a show critic. And deservedly so for those last few seasons. Even then, though, I mean, all the way up through season 8, people were still insisting it was the greatest show on Earth. Like, it was still not considered okay to, like, not like Game of Thrones up until, like, a year after, probably, after the actual, probably years after season 8 came out and the show finished. Like, it was still not okay to shit on Game of Thrones for such a long time. Jon Snow, heir to Targaryen throne, too important. I actually like the fact that he came back to life because it was interesting and it was a cool conclusion to his watch. Like when that line when he goes, "My watch has ended," was badass. That was cool. It was a cool way to get him out of the Black Watch, whatever they're called. Those who watch the wall. It was a cool way to get him out of it. I liked it, but I think that what would have been, honestly, the character I felt like was the most underutilized, who was clearly supposed to be important, was Gendry. Gendry just becoming becoming an idiot by the end of the series was the most disappointing thing for me. He was the character I was rooting for more so than Jon Snow. I was waiting for Gendry to become king. He was the one that I thought was supposed to become the actual king, not Jon Snow. When I actually went back and watched the series, remember everybody else wanted Jon. I was like, Gendry's the fucking badass here. I want to see him do it. I like him. And him just becoming some idiot by the end of the show was so dumb. So dumb. Would have been so much more interesting if you had like a recreation of the battle from 20 years ago that put Baratheon on the throne, put Robert Baratheon on the throne. It would have been cool if you had that recreated in the new timeline, like 20 some years later, with Gendry leading an army and Daenerys leading the Dothraki, and Cersei and the last of the Lannisters down in King's Landing after Tywin has died, and then who else? Yeah, Gendry and Arya leading an army, just like their parents did. Then you have King's Landing and the Lannisters, and then Daenerys leading them. But then they all do come together and fight the Night King. That could have been cool. That would have been cool. Shame we didn't get that. All of them coming together, and whatever Jon would be doing. You know, he was the key figure there. Maybe he would have been like maybe he would have become king. Just because he would have been like the choice to fight the Night King, you know? I don't know. It would have been interesting, but, you know, that would have actually been interesting. We need to rush through so we can go make Star Wars that they didn't even get to make. Wow. Throw out your most iconic franchise. What a shame. What a shame. So now I have to redo stitches that I put my hand over. I have to touch up some of these, but that's fine. That's not really a big deal. Here's some on his shoulder. Don't touch them again. Stop touching the areas you already painted, Rich. Come on. Go. There we go. God, that leather really comes to life with the stitches on there. Gonna have to add a little bit of blue wash around a lot of them, but that's fine. And got another hair here. That happens. There we go. The Disciples of Fire dudes. Oh, yeah, I mean, that was deep into Season 6 when you had all the stuff with the sparrows. That was, Game of Thrones never... If there's one thing I think real Game of Thrones really never was able to write well, it was religion. They were, like, political intrigue. Oh, yeah, great. I mean, George R.R. Martin has never been able to write religion very well. Even fake ones, you know, where you shouldn't have... You know, he was never good at that. He was never good at getting good religious perspectives, nor are D&D, nor is really anybody in Hollywood right now. You know, which is strange. Religion is a key facet of the human experience. It would have been cool to see, like, you know, what religion would sweep through the people of Westeros. Instead, you have all these, like, pseudo-modernist, like, factions, like, atheistic factions running around all over the place, like the Brotherhood Without Banner. Well, I guess they're not atheistic, but they follow a religion with, like, tangible effects. They follow a god that is literally bringing people back to life, which you would think would, you know, give them a banner of sorts. You know, the banner of the god who keeps bringing people back to life, but, you know, it's... George R.R. Martin needs to make them some socialist allegory, so, you know, that's more important. There we go. One right at the bottom. Perfect. Or an atheist allegory? I don't know. Maybe socialist allegory is probably not the right term. I rescind that. But, I don't know, they felt very modern for a, you know, something that's all about the medieval times, you know? I don't know. It's like having a faction, the Brotherhood Without Banners didn't really seem to really fit. If for no other reason than that they should be the Brotherhood whose banner is the banner of the god who's bringing back our leader to life over and over again multiple times. Like, holy shit. There we go. 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 Just a couple more highlights there. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I'm okay with them not explaining, like, magic. I just would have liked to see more of an explanation as to what the belief systems were of, like, the average people there. You know, and how that influenced the, those at the top. How they differ. Gendry would have been such a great character for that, but boy, did you feel how much D&D did not care about that aspect. I don't know if George R. R. Martin does a better job exploring that in the books. You know, I think Al told me once, so when he was reading it, and Hephaestus too, when he read the first book. Apparently, Arya spends like a year or something in Flea Bottom in the middle of King's Landing before she gets driven out. Instead of in the books, in the show, where it's like she pretty much goes straight out of the city the moment that the Lannister power grab happens. So that could have been a good opportunity. Maybe R. Martin explores it more. I don't know. Hope so. That would have been a way more interesting aspect to cover. Like, what do average people believe, is true in the world? Such a basic question, but one of the most interesting for an author to answer. One of the most important for them to ask themselves before they publish something. What does the average person believe? What makes them get up in the morning? Is it a belief in, is it finance and monetary success? Is it to serve a god, gods? Is it family? What do they believe in? What do they strive for? What are they attempting to do? What imperial or societal project are people communally working toward? How well do they believe in it? What's the gap between what the government believes and what the average person believes as far as that societal project, religious project? What are we doing here? Who are we? These basic questions are the most important ones, and hack authors and writers don't bother with them because, that's dumb. Let's have the Dothraki on the horses and standing and shooting. Yay! I mean, that was cool, don't get me wrong. But, we've seen what happened to the show in retrospect. Its reputation. So, clearly the guys on horses weren't impressive enough to retain that audience when the hype died down. Which, of course, it wasn't. It never is. Spectacle never is good enough. Whining gits. Yep. There are people who survive. But, I don't know. I think they killed off too many characters, to be honest. Like, the whole Robb Stark's whole death. God, what a forgotten character. Remember Robb Stark? Nobody does. Nobody remembers that character. No one even likes Robb. No one seems to actually give a shit about Robb Stark. No one even remembers Robb Stark, Jon's older brother. Nobody remembers him. Nobody fucking remembers him. Nobody gave a shit. And, God, his whole death just felt like it was written by a kid who pulled the legs off of spiders when he was 12. Just felt so cynical and mean-spirited. And, like, I don't know, like, it... So weirdly mean-spirited toward, like, not an innocent man. Toward a man and his pregnant wife. The whole scene was just, like... I get why the Red Wedding was iconic, but Jesus Christ. And now none of those characters remembered. No one remembers Kat. No one remembers Robb. No one gives a shit about any of those characters because they weren't well set up in the first... I mean, they were well set up, but they weren't interesting. Not as much as John. I don't know, whatever. Why am I talking so much about Game of Thrones? Why am I talking so much about a show I don't even like? What have you guys been watching recently? What's been good? Matt, what have you been watching? What shows do you like? Is there anything actually worth watching on Warhammer Plus? I know the answer is probably no, but I'm curious if anyone actually signed up. Are any of the 3 people who signed up for Warhammer Plus in my chat right now? Are any of them? Do you exist? I'm not sure you are. I think they're fudging the numbers to get to that whopping number of 3, actually. I think they lied to the investors about that. All right, they're still turning record profits, though, so good for them. Despite that debacle. Should have just stayed on YouTube. Warhammer's not that big a franchise. It's a big franchise. It's not that big a franchise. You can't start a streaming service with just Warhammer. Any idiot in marketing should be able to tell them that. That'll do fine. Isn't it like a meme that R.R. Martin still hasn't finished the books? Yeah, he still hasn't. I remember I saw something recently where, haven't watched Netflix lately? That's a shame. You haven't felt the need to watch K-pop Demon Hunters? Martin's probably never going to finish the books. If I'm honest, I think he doesn't like them now. I think they just killed too many characters. The books just aren't... Well, you know what? I can't speak to the books. I have not read the books. But I think he's just killed too many characters and he doesn't care about the story anymore, you know? Again, the Red Wedding is the most iconic part of the series. The part that solidified the Game of Thrones and made it like a... gave it cult status. Made it into like an actual... like cultural force, but nobody cares about any of the characters who are involved. It's now largely been forgotten. What a shame. I think he just killed too many of the characters. The books are just cynical, they're mean-spirited, and now I'm not even sure that Martin himself cares to actually finish them. I really don't think he does. I think that's his main issue. Like, there aren't enough characters he actually gives a shit about for him to want to finish. I suspect. But that's not going off of any lore. That's me just going off what I've seen of Martin, what I know of him as a writer and personally, the way he's gone about his writing. Because he's written it with a very specific ending in mind. He's talked about that before. Like, there is a specific ending that he has in mind for the books. Like, he's got it down ish. I wonder if it was that Daenerys died and now he doesn't want to actually publish that because now he's kind of embarrassed of it. I'm curious. I wonder if that part of the ending with Jon Snow killing Daenerys was so unpopular that now he's like, maybe I shouldn't end the books with that. Maybe he's trying to finish it now. Trying to do something different. Or maybe he just doesn't want to finish them. That's always a tricky thing as a writer. You got to figure out how to, I don't know. You got to what's the old term? Kill your babies, kill your darlings. It's hard to do that, It's hard to take an idea, or take miniature painting, for example. I mean, the reason we all get such big piles of shame is because being able to go around and tell people how all the ideas I have for these miniatures is so much easier than, just handing over the miniature and letting them be evaluated, Letting someone else actually look at your work. That's terrifying, but just listing off ideas, that's easy, And that's part of why people don't finish. And also because that when you actually finish the project, it's not going to look anything like you want it to in your mind. When there's real paint on a real 3D object, of course it's not going to look the same. There's going to be things that are totally different than what you thought. But, you roll the dice. A good artist learns to appreciate that. A good artist learns to appreciate the way in which things fuck up and to enjoy the experience of figuring out how to compensate, you know? That's what I find, that's a lot of, I've said this before, that's a lot of what I find fun about miniature painting is like, oh, that didn't work at all. Let's see what we can do. You know, like with the sword on that Space Marine. That was so bad. Oh my god, when we were trying to do that like black and white, it was so bad. Had to just go back to basics. But that, again, that's what's fun though, is like figuring out how to make it work. It's a shame more people don't appreciate that in art. You know, that's what's good about it. That's what makes art interesting. Is fucking it up and having to figure it out. Trace around the edge of this. I want it to match his eye patch. There we go. That'll do for the eye patch. Last few details. Learning from doing. Yeah, exactly. Learning from doing. That's all you can do. I watched an anime called Mob Psycho 100. Kind of like From. Seems a bit rushed. What is it with one-word shows now and movies? I guess Jordan Peele was doing that like years ago, but now it seems like everybody is. I mean, I guess it's good that they're trying to keep it simple. Simple premises. Assuming they actually are. Oh god, my hands are so shaky. So shaky. Alright. I don't ever want to hear anyone here say their hands are too shaky to paint Warhammer. Look at mine. It's so bad. And I'm still here. I got some more stitches to do as well. There we go. Ooh, yeah. Those extra details help a lot. Alright, keep going with all this stitching. There we go. Already got these on the back. Let's get the ones on the shoulders. Tap right there. And I believe that is it for this gentleman. That's all the highlights that we need on there. Oh my god, those wraps look so good now. They stand out so well and help really break up the skin and the leather. Oh, god, it's so cool. Love it. Love how it's turning out. The white highlights on the face are really going to make this come together. I think that'll be the next thing we do. After we get this stitching highlighted, the next thing is going to be white for both the points on the spears and along the face. And I guess their own teeth as well. Do I want to paint their toenails white? Nah. No, I don't want them to look like claws. They're not like monsters. Well, they are orcs. They're not monsters, though. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm bumping the camera. Sorry about that. Okay. This guy doesn't have very many at all. Thank God for that. I got no problem there. There we go. Oh, shoot. Got that all over his hand. It's alright. It's pretty watery. I think that's why it got on his hand. Brush was too wet. There we go. There we are. Alright, that's the back of the shield. Let's get the rest of this now. Go. Go. Man, those ropes around his head look heavy. I guess if he has the only metal helmet, you would want something heavy. Keep that from falling off. Alright, there's really not that many stitches on him. That's all the ropes. Let's start from the bottom, actually. Way I'm less likely to accidentally tap on them. There we go. Recommend a show, it would be Dark. One of those you either love or hate. Alright, what service is it on? I might check it out. Right now I'm working my way through the King of the Hill revival. But I'll be looking for something after that. Be a bit. Let's put a couple more here, actually. There's a metal piece down at the bottom, that little ring. Oh, I didn't get that. There's a couple areas that need to be touched up with a lot of different colors. Yep, can't forget these at the top. Go. All right. God, that really brings that leather to life. German show. I don't mind German shows. Interesting. I have to check it out. All right. That's 4 done. We're almost halfway through. This isn't too bad. I thought this would be a lot more... I don't know. I thought that doing these ropes would piss me off a lot more, if I'm entirely honest. But this is working out pretty well. There we go. There we go. Oh, it looks so good. Stop, Rich, stop being so proud of your own work. Come on. It's tacky. Ooh, that's going to need fixed. There's a lot of stuff that's going to need fixed. There's a lot of little details and crap you need to take care of. But we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. there is some more on his other leg. Gotta check all these limbs. Okay. Oh, back of the shield. God damn it, put my hand in it again. Well, what else is new? Okay. Just gets small amounts. It's drying out way too fast. That'll do. All right. That's 5 down. shouldn't have had coffee before this, but I was filming. There we go. Boy, there's a lot of rope on the back of that shield. Come on, get the paint, get off the brush. Get off the brush. Get off there. There we go. Just need a little bit more there. There. There we go. All right, now this arm. Front, back of the shield. Definitely needs more blue wash, but that's fine for right now. There we go. Couple more stitches here. Glad I waited to do these last because I would definitely have got my finger all over them. All set. Okay, I think this man's ready to go. That's 6 down, 4 to go. Whew. Am I going to spend another like 10 hours on these guys? More than likely. More than likely. Why not? Ooh. Man, I just stretched my back pop like 14 times. Like 4 different places. There we go. The white definition is going to be next. Okay. Yeah, that paint's drying out too. That's okay though. No, wait, I want that to be metal. I want his earring to be metal. here below his knee. Go. More. I'm putting out such small droplets of this cork brown. Like tiny, tiny, tiny droplets at a time. Okay. I don't know if this is going to bug anyone who has a stream on in the background, but I'm going to turn some music on here in a second. There we go. Is there any more stitching? Fortunately, I don't do the back of his shield. God, I just immediately put my hand in that. Immediately destroyed that work. There we go. Alright, he's done. There we go. That's 7 down. There we go. Alright, this guy's got quite a bit going on. Oh, that twisted braid looks so interesting. Genuine question? Hit me. It better not be about big booty Latinas. Last time someone had said a genuine question, that was what it ended up being. Right, come on. Oh my god. About the hunt video? Man. Probably a few dozen hours. Something like that. 20, 30, maybe, I don't know, somewhere in there. Wasn't really a game I wanted to put a lot of hours into. Sure, I could put in the 500 hours to become an expert at the mechanics of a 7-year-old game, but that has to bribe people to watch it on Twitch. But why would I do that? No, you're good. But that's the honest truth. I played it for a few dozen hours, put it down. Like to play it. I don't know. It's one of those games where it's like, I'd like to play it. It's cool. I like the mechanics. I like the world. I like fighting monsters. I like all that stuff. But I'm not going to invest the time to become an expert in the shooting mechanics or become a good enough quick draw. I'm not going to put in the 100, 500, however many hours required to become good at a shooter that's 7 years old. Just a waste of time. Again, I like the world, I like the characters, I like the act of physically playing the game. It's fun. I like shooting the guns, I like beating up grunts with hammers, but that's it. I'm just not going to put in the time for a shooter that old to become actually good at it. Not with PvP. Not like PvP good. You know, PvP good is different from PvE good. Those are two different levels of good. Will I do a Gundam model kit in the future? I'm open to doing a Gundam model kit. I don't have any Gundam model kits, to be honest. I'm open to doing one, but I don't own any. And I don't really know much about the Gundam verse. I would totally do one. But right now, I can't afford to buy new models, and I'm just working my way through the ones that I have. Through my pile of shame. Could, in theory, run out at some day, but probably not anytime soon. A genuine understanding of the game. It's not as genuine understanding as I would have if I put in 500 hours. But if the developers are bribing people to watch the game on Twitch what they clearly want are new players interacting with and playing the game. I was a new player. This is why I played the game, liked it, but will not continue playing it. That's the perspective they need to be listening to if they actually want to bring in and onboard new players and get them playing long term. So no, I don't have the full understanding of someone who's put 7,000 hours into it, but I do have the understanding of someone who's just getting onboarded in 2025. And that is a perspective that if the devs want to bring on players in 2025, they should be listening to. Yo, Saul, hey, welcome in. Also, genuine, yes. Nothing I do on this channel is not genuine. I can promise you that. My biggest weakness, everything I say about that game is 100% genuine. %100%. You're not a fan of Gundam? I don't know. Yeah, well, the other game I played the most on this channel is Project Zomboid. And to be honest, it has the exact same issue that Hunt does. Well, not the exact same issue, but a lot of the same issues that Hunt does. Where it's extremely... It's so focused, like, the devs are so laser focused on the people in, like, their personal Discord, you know? They're so laser focused on the fans who've already put thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours into the game. They're so interested. Well, not... They should be interested, but... They're so hyper-focused on those fans and what those fans ask for that they end up alienating people who are trying to get onboarded to the franchise in 2025 as they're trying to grow the game. And that's no bueno. That's how you continue to see your game shrink. That's not how you grow a fan base. There we go. All right. Go. All right. Let's continue with this stitching. Oh, you've been here the whole time. Oh, sorry. I guess I didn't see you. Sorry. I don't know. When the chat goes quiet, I kind of just assume I'm here by myself. Which is probably the best idea. I mean, allows me to continue focusing. All right. My hands are a little steadier now. I think that coffee finally wore off. Thank God. There we are. Oh, that stitching is so good for the leather. Yeah, it's been kind of weird. Honestly, the Hunt Showdown stuff has been really strange because it seems like they're really... Like, the Hunt Showdown fan base was not a fan of my video. Either the shorts... Well, the shorts are just part of the longer form video. But they have, like, not... They didn't fuck with what I put out. But they also seem to spend a lot of time complaining about everything the devs do. You know, and how the devs are alienating new players. It's kind of a weird situation with Hunt, because, again, you know, like games like Project Zomboid, like any game that defines itself as a hardcore, for hardcore gamers, you know? Any game like that, which you really shouldn't do when you're 7 or more years old. For those types of games, they end up in a weird position where a lot of times the devs are, like I said, they're trying to hyper-focus on the fan base who's been there and trying to do what they love, but it's like... That's not how you get people into the series, you know? That's not... I don't know. Yeah, it seems like hating on devs is more and more a common thing. There's a few good ones. I don't know of any first-person shooter devs that I like, though. I'm also just not really into first-person shooters, generally. I mean, like I said with Hunt, you know, I like the game, but I'm not putting in the time and energy to become, like, PvP good at a shooter that's 7 years old. Fuck that. Nah, bro. That ain't happening. For a 7-year-old game, I'm not putting in 500 hours to become PvP level good, competitive good, at a shooter that's 7 years old. Absolutely not. Which is why I'm like, PvE mode. You're 7 years old now. People are not gonna... Like, PvE mode, please. You know, for those of us who just want to kill grunts with sledgehammers. And the game has a really dedicated fan base, and I can see why. It's gorgeous, shockingly well optimized. Like, really ran like butter on my machine, even with OBS and recording. Like, it ran really well. Like, I was genuinely shocked at how beautiful that game is and how well it ran. The sound design is, as I said, god tier. But mechanically, it's just not interesting. And it relies on the PvP to make it interesting. Well, the clues don't need to be interesting because they're a flashpoint for PvP. Well, the monsters don't need to be interesting because they're just there to get you to engage in PvP. It's like, well, I don't want to engage in PvP because it's a 7-year-old game and I'm not going to put in the effort to be that good at it. So what else you got? Nothing. Nothing. What a shame from a good game. Well, I'm not trying to be clear. I get that I only put in a dozen or so hours, a few dozen hours. I forget now. However many I put in. Let me just check Steam. I did play it a while ago. I think I did. I don't even know now. How many hours did I put in? Hunt Showdown. I put in almost exactly 13 hours. So not much. But even so, it should still, the perspective of age of the game doesn't matter, that's not true. You and I both know that's not true for shooters. That's just that's cope. I'm sorry, dude. That's cope. What do you mean age of the game doesn't matter? It absolutely matters. And while, again, I get that I only played 13 hours, the perspective of someone who played for 13 hours and then chose not to continue for very specific reasons is a perspective they should be taking into account as devs if they want to bring in new players and keep them playing for more than 13 hours, you know? Which presumably they do. They're bribing people to watch the Twitch streams. They're bribing people to make content about the game, you know? Why does it matter? Because I want the game to succeed. I want the game to succeed. I think they did a lot of really cool things. I want the game to succeed. I'm making these critiques of why I quit playing because I want the game to succeed. That's exactly why it matters. Oh, why does the game's age matter? Oh, because hype dies down. That's it. Hype dies down. I would never have even gotten re-exposed to Hunt Showdown if one of my subscribers hadn't been so nice as to buy it for me out of the blue. I just told him, like, oh yeah, you want to get something? Get me something that you like, you know? And he happened to get me Hunt Showdown. Otherwise, I never would have thought about that game again. Ever. Ever. Never would have thought about that game if it hadn't been specifically plopped into my lap. Never would have thought about the game again, like maybe 3 weeks ago. If the game hadn't been specifically given to me, I never would have thought about it again. You want to know why? Because it's like 7 years old. And no one is going to put in the time and effort to become PvP good at a 7-year-old game. I'm not. So that was why after 13 hours, I stopped playing. Oh, God, that stitching is so good. That stitching adds so much. It makes the leather look so much more real. You know, having that, oh, it makes the leather look so good. And to be clear, I don't want them to abandon the perspective of those players who've been in the game for, like, years, who started playing back when it launched in, what, 2018? You know? Age of a game doesn't matter if it's Skyrim. And only Skyrim. Honestly, I was surprised when I checked the Steam Hop 100. There are a surprising number of, like, of really good games that are older. Despite the... One thing I found really interesting when I checked it was that despite Civilization 6 and 7 being out, Civilization 5 was in the top 100. I think 6 was too, but lower. That was very interesting. I didn't expect that. I mean, I do love Civ 5, so I'm not complaining. Great game. Good to see people on Steam have good taste, but I found that very interesting. Anyway, I mean, all I really want is just some kind of a mode where I can hunt monsters with my friends. Again, a mode I can pick up and play on a Tuesday night. Sorry, I don't know, Henge, I don't know if you watched the full video or just that one short, but I mean, I just want them to put in a mode I can just play with my friends on a random Tuesday night that doesn't last 45 minutes. That's where I don't have to have the pressure of being, like, in PvP mode, like, mentally. It's a lot of pressure that I just don't want to deal with for a game. You know, I want to be able to pick up and just play, you know? Want to know why Civ 5 is still on that list after... I think it's older than Hunt Showdown. Because it's a game you can just play. The whole thing? Oh, okay, so I'll keep that into account. Oh, boy. I mean, look, I'm not saying they should in any way abandon PvP. Like, I'm not saying get rid of any modes that are there. To be absolutely clear, I'm not saying get rid of any modes that are there. What I am saying is they should add more because, you know, instead of bribing people to be... It's not a casual game. Well, the game is 7 years old and they're bribing people to watch it on Twitch and play it now. So... Again, this is a conversation I've had so many times talking to Project Zomboid fans, the exact same shit. It's just not a casual game. You should just go find one. Well, people do. You know? Is that really what you want to tell new players? Is that really what you think will make... You really think it'll make the game better for the devs and the fan base to tell new players, well, just go play something else? Okay, I will. There's plenty of stuff on Steam. But I like Hunt Showdown. I want Hunt Showdown to succeed. Maybe the devs and the fan base shouldn't tell new players, well, just go play something else, because they will. Like, maybe you should at least be somewhat welcoming to other perspectives? Jesus Christ, man. And look, I get that PvP is important. I don't want to see that sacrificed, but if they're bribing people to come back and make content about the game, instead of having a base, like, that's not a great sign, you know? Not a casual game. Who cares? The game needs to be, it doesn't have to be casual, but it does have to be accessible. It does have to be something people can pick up and just play and understand without having to be, like, in super intense mode all the time. Because that's what makes people not want to play. You know, when they feel like they're on that, on the edge of their, I mean... Not to mention that, honestly, the game gets really boring once you get into the higher levels of PvP. I watched quite a bit of footage of, like, players at that level, and pretty much most of what you do is just hide out in houses and buildings. You're just hiding and trying not to get shot in the back, which is just so boring as far as gameplay. And doing that for 45 minutes is super stressful. I don't want to do that on a Tuesday night. I want to be able to just pick something up and play it. I want to just be able to hunt monsters with my friends. But that is apparently too much to ask. It's just not a casual game. Okay, well, I already planned on playing something else. I played the game for 13 hours, decided it wasn't for me, made a review, and then I planned on playing something else. I guess I'll just keep planning on doing that, and Hunt Showdown will continue losing players. Congrats. Okay, have fun. I mean, I like the game. I wanted to keep playing. I would like to keep playing, but I guess, I don't know. Guess I just won't. Congratulations. Such a shitty attitude to have. Such a shitty attitude. Why would you not want a game to be accessible? Why, if you love a game, why would you not want more people playing it? That's wild. Like, I'm not saying compromise vision, but... Like, holy shit. Like, to just actively not want people enjoying your game, that's wild to me. A game that needs players, or else they wouldn't be doing, like, having a... permanently just having an event going on, or else they wouldn't be bribing people to watch the Twitch streams. They want more players, but also they're adopting an attitude of, it's just not for some people. Like, well, congrats. Tarkov? Oh, no, never Tarkov. No interest in Tarkov. I think the extent of my Tarkov knowledge is just watching Endra play it, and my god, that shit is funny. Oh my god. Yep. Thank you for the compliment on the painting, though. I work very, very hard on these. You see, this is something I spent 500 hours, probably more, becoming extremely good at. I love painting. There we go. This stuff is drying up already. Okay, got a little bit on his foot there, but that's fine. What else needs it? Got his necklace. Oh, wait, up here in the shoulder. Almost missed these. There's probably some behind this shield, too. No, I got it behind his shield already. Oh, I didn't get this side. Let's finish up with that shoulder. Redo that. Oh, hands are shaking again. That coffee is getting a second wave. This is really drying out. The shield. Try not to tap these immediately after. Go. Another one on the shoulder, back. No, it's not worth it. Oh, there's one more here. So one more stitch buried in there. Come on, paint. Get off the brush. Get off the brush. Vacate. Remigrate. Oh, got more on this shoulder too. Okay, need more. Any more? Why don't we tap these while we're at it? There we go. Go. now, friends. That was not a good time for that. Do a big singular stitch for this little chip in the plastic. Fat head keeps bumping the camera. Oh, that's it. Oh my god, that's all 10. hell of a lot. Oh, this guy also forgot to paint his staff. Just need a little bit here. Alright, white next. Okay. Ooh. I know I painted some of these nails in here, but it's not even... Just cover them up, who cares? I can touch them later with a little bit of gray. It's okay if it's streaky. I just need a flat layer. What I care more about is that it's consistent. Ooh, yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, the only other white we're using on this model is going to be on these eyes and teeth. On their teeth, too. Oh, that's way too much paint for that. There we go. Oh, yeah. Now that brings it together. Now that brings the model together. Hell yeah. Let's keep going here. I will probably get white on areas that I shouldn't. That's honestly fine. I can go back and correct that later. There's going to have to be a whole stage for corrections anyway. At least the teeth in their mouth are pretty big. So they're easy to pick out. Oh, yeah. That really brings it together. That's so nasty. It's awful. Oh, it's horrible. Let's get the black eyes. That'll help too. Oh, and his weapon. Can't forget. Fortunately, I'm not worried about wasting white. If the white, any of this dries up, who cares? I have way too much white anyway. I think I have like 4 bottles. Not trying to make it neat at all. I just need a layer of white so that when the layer of orange goes on over this, it's nice and bright. Oh, shoot. That's him on his face. Damn it. Well, I'll fix it later. Maybe I can still get it off. Let me see. Let's put some water on there. You want to work with me? Probably not. No, it's not going to come off. It's already dried. Well, damn. Ah, well. I'll fix it later. At least the shield turned out well. Looks awesome. be enough. At least for this one, I only have to paint one eye. There we go. Hell yeah. Oh wow, we're already at 2.5 hours? Man, time flies. I would like to start the orange on these spears today, if they can dry fast enough. It's a pretty thin layer of white. I mean, it should dry pretty quickly. In theory, anyway. But, I don't know. Maybe it'd be worth switching over to some gaming for a bit. Oh, God. I didn't realize how big that mouth was. Oh, damn it. Blocked out the pupil. Exactly what I didn't want to do. Really? What the fuck? It just immediately fills in that pupil anyway. Maybe there was still water in it. Alright, that'll do. There we go. What are the smaller teeth? Or were those so much easier? Sure I get this area. This little bit of the leather that I forgot. Oof, there's just no paint there. Yeah, I want to make sure I paint that because it's a super small thing and I will totally forget it later if I don't get it now. Sometimes it's better to do that stuff even at the cost of your brushes. Bunch of his clothing. Right. Oh, that really ties them together. It'll be nice once that's orange. Oh, sorry. I can turn it off if it's really annoying, but while I'm sitting here, I kind of like to have something in the background for my own personal sake. I don't know. I always go back and forth on having music, because I like having it, but also, like, it's nice for those watching the stream, but since most streams are things people have on in the background anyway, it's like, I don't know. I go back and forth on it. I'll keep it on for today, though. Seems like it's going to be a slow night. we go. I getcha. Which of these is an actual tooth? There we go. All right. I'm gonna have to fix quite a bit of that on his face, but that on the shield, but that's fine. I'll come back and fix that later. That's 5 down. Once again, what's an actual tooth? Go. Messing up the lips on some of these. But again, we can come fix that later. Oh, man, all over that tongue. There we go. It's great. Oh, his weapon. Before I forget.
sure. I say that every single layer, every single time we paint these, but man,
so good, so good. That's 6.
And we're gonna need more white. That's okay though. We're not losing it because it's getting dried out, and that's the main thing I worry about, is wasting paint. You need to pour more, that's fine. As long as we're not leaving it on the table to dry out.
Probably need a thicker layer than that.
We'll put one on anyway. Get in those recesses. Get along that edge. Probably should keep it in frame. Ooh, it was very orky, which is good. Oh, he's got a lot of teeth. That's it.
Okay.
that's gonna need fixing. A lot of fixing. There we go.
Looking fierce. 2 more. Then, really should wait a bit, because I don't know if this white's going to be fully dried before we apply the orange. And I also want to put a black wash into the mouths, the eyes, and into the mouths on here too. Ooh, that needs another. Well, they don't really need touched up, because after the black wash dries in the mouths, then we're going to touch up that white again. Now, for right now, I don't trust that to be fully dry by the time we're done. Maybe we'll take the black red. Some of them have like reeds and stuff at their feet. I think we'll take the black red next. And actually, no. We'll take the black red and do the heads of these cattails. The light green for the reeds themselves. It's like the only other thing for the base that we really need done before we wash those. And we can also use that same black red and the same. I'm not gonna use the light green for anything. Yeah, we can still use that black red to fix a couple of places that need it. Oh, maybe we should do the black wash first. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We got time. Oh my god, these teeth are huge. Literally need to break out a bigger brush because these teeth are so huge.
Ooh, wow, that's all over the base now. Whatever. It's fine. Go. He's looking good.
Hope you like them. I think they're turning out very, very well. Ooh, just one more. Get that white on. God, I love this guy. I love his mini trident hat. I love it. Oh. Maybe we'll do the black wash next. No. Light green next. There's not even that many. Then a wash of emerald on the bases. Black, red. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start that. Need more white for the very last guy. Ah. There we go. Oh, damn it. Just got that everywhere.
God, that wasn't even close. My God.
God, didn't even
get it on the actual tooth.
right. Whew. Well, that was arduous. All right. Light green. Got black, red. Let's see if there's any areas I would like to touch up, as well as doing cattail heads. Are there any? Oh, he actually looks pretty good. Around the base of that shield. Base of the spear. Flicked a bunch of white paint on him here. There we go. Alright. No cattails under him. But some places on this lip that need touched up.